I was 34 when this happened, working as a remote customer support lead for a mid-sized software company. It wasn't a glamorous job, but it paid consistently, and it let me work from home, which mattered to me more than I like to admit. I've always been someone who prefers quiet routines. I don't go out much. I don't like surprises. I keep my life small on purpose. The house was my first real purchase. A modest two-bedroom place in a quiet suburban neighborhood, about 40 minutes outside the city, built in the late 90s, beige siding, small backyard. Nothing remarkable about it, which is exactly why I liked it. After years of apartment living, I wanted something solid, predictable. I moved in during early fall. The air still smelled faintly of cut grass and cooling asphalt. The cellar had already cleared out, and the house was professionally cleaned before I got the keys. It felt empty in that clean, echoing way that new spaces always do. Not eerie, just hollow. The first few nights were uneventful. Boxes everywhere. I slept on a mattress on the floor. I remember feeling proud, walking barefoot through the rooms, telling myself this was adulthood finally catching up with me. I'd stand in the kitchen late at night, eating cereal out of the box, listening to the refrigerator hum. Nothing about that first week felt wrong. If anything, it felt reassuringly dull. That's what still bothers me most when I think about it now. My days settled into a predictable rhythm quickly. I'd wake up around 7, make coffee, log in by 8. The house creaked a little in the mornings as the temperature changed, but I chalked that up to normal settling sounds. Every house makes noise. People say that all the time. During breaks, I'd unpack a few boxes, clothes first, then books. Then the small things that make a place feel lived in. Photos, kitchen utensils, old mugs I couldn't bring myself to throw away. I made a habit of taking short walks in the evening to get familiar with the neighborhood, mostly retirees and young families. People waved. Dogs barked behind fences. One night, I met my next-door neighbor while I was dragging a trash bin to the curb. His name was Carl. Late 50s, maybe early 60s. Gray hair, clean clothes, polite smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "New owner?" he asked. "Yeah. Just moved in," I said. He nodded slowly, like he was filing the information away. "Quiet house," he said. "That's a good thing." At the time, it felt like harmless small talk. Inside, I started making the place feel more like mine. I mounted a TV in the living room, bought cheap curtains, installed smart locks and a doorbell camera, mostly for convenience. I wasn't paranoid. I just liked knowing things were secure. Most nights, I'd fall asleep to low-volume podcasts, the glow of my phone fading as I drifted off. I slept deeply, dreamlessly. At least I thought I did. The first thing that felt off was the closet door in the spare bedroom. I hadn't finished unpacking that room yet. It was mostly storage, boxes stacked against the walls, an old desk pushed into the corner. One morning, I walked past and noticed the closet door slightly open. I distinctly remembered closing it. I stood there longer than necessary, trying to recall if I'd been in there the night before. I shrugged it off and shut it again. 2 days later, it happened again. Open, just a few inches. That's when I started paying attention. I began noticing small things that didn't quite line up. A kitchen drawer left ajar. The bathroom window unlocked when I was sure I'd latched it. Once, I came home from a grocery run and found the hallway light on. I told myself the same thing every time. You're tired, you're distracted, new house, new habits. The noises started shortly after. Soft sounds at night, not footsteps exactly, more like shifting weight, a faint thud, followed by silence. I'd pause whatever I was listening to, hold my breath, wait. Nothing ever followed. One night, around 2 in the morning, I woke up to what sounded like someone gently testing the front door handle. Not rattling, just pressure. I lay frozen, heart hammering, staring at the ceiling. After a few seconds, the sound stopped. The doorbell camera showed nothing the next morning. No motion alerts, no recordings, just empty porch footage and a timestamp. That should have been enough to scare me. Instead, I bought heavier curtains and convinced myself I was adjusting to unfamiliar surroundings. Things escalated slowly enough that I didn't realize how far they'd gone until I was already on edge all the time. I started locking my bedroom door at night. That decision came after I woke up one morning and found my laptop on the kitchen counter. I never left it there. I always shut it down and kept it on my desk. I checked my doorbell camera obsessively. Still nothing unusual, no alerts, no strangers, no reason, but the feeling of being observed grew heavier. I'd be washing dishes and get the sudden urge to turn around. Sitting on the couch, I'd feel like someone was standing just out of view in the hallway. One evening, I heard a low cough from somewhere inside the house. It was unmistakably human. I stood up so fast, my chair scraped loudly across the floor. I walked room to room, checking every space, every closet, every door. Nothing was out of place, nothing missing. That night, I barely slept. The next day, I checked the crawl space access in the hallway. It was closed, but the screws looked disturbed, slightly misaligned. I called a local handyman to inspect it. He shrugged and said older houses shift, screws loosen. He tightened everything and left. That night I heard movement again, heavier this time, purposeful. It came from the hallway, then the spare bedroom, then stopped outside my door. I sat on my bed, phone clenched in my hand, listening to someone breathe on the other side. I don't know how long I sat there before the handle turned, slowly, carefully. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My mouth felt glued shut. The handle stopped, then turned again, harder this time. The lock held. "Hey," a man's voice said quietly, calm, almost friendly. "It's okay. I just need to grab something." I slid off the bed and pressed myself against the wall, heart pounding so loud I was sure he could hear it. "Who are you?" I managed. Silence, then a soft chuckle. "You weren't supposed to hear me yet." My hands were shaking as I dialed 911. I didn't even wait for the call to connect before yelling that someone was inside my house. The door handle jerked violently once, twice, then stopped. Footsteps retreated down the hallway. A door opened, slammed. By the time police arrived, the house was empty. They searched everything, found the crawl space panel open. Inside were a sleeping bag, empty water bottles, food wrappers. A portable phone charger plugged into an outlet I rarely used. Someone had been living there. The officer's face went tight when I showed them the doorbell footage. The camera angle didn't cover the side entrance. The man had known exactly where to avoid it. One officer asked, "Do you recognize him?" I thought of Carl's polite smile. I said nothing. I didn't stay in the house that night or the next. I checked into a motel and barely slept, replaying every sound, every moment I'd ignored. The police never found him. They told me it was likely someone with previous access to the house. A contractor, a former owner, someone who knew the layout. They installed extra locks, recommended motion sensors, offered reassurance that felt rehearsed. I sold the house 6 months later at a loss. Even now, I triple-check locks. I still wake up at night convinced I hear breathing. My phone stays charged. My bedroom door stays locked. Sometimes, when I think about how easily he moved through my life without me noticing, my stomach twists. Last month, I was unpacking boxes in my new apartment when my phone buzzed with a motion alert. My doorbell camera, connected to an address I no longer owned, had detected movement. The clip showed nothing but a familiar porch and a man standing just out of frame, waiting.